Hello, dear friends. A revolution is a profound change in the political, social, and economic structure. As Amaral sang, I feel that our time has come. We are a blinding light, brighter than the sun. This is our revolution. There are too many of us, and they want to be able to pass over the life we want to inherit, where I am not afraid to speak my mind. I feel this is the time to forget what separated us and think about what unites us. Opinion piece. This is a revolution, a paradigm shift. The impact is just beginning. New stage in civilization. Structural change in the market. The Simpsons were wrong this time. The time of freedom has burst. Fed chairman refuses to step down. The Fed boys train crash with Trump. Trump's death knell for European stock markets. Milei celebrates Trump's victory at his home. Italy will expose electoral fraud in 55 countries. Leaders of the Democratic Party flee to Spain. Let's start. A financial revolution refers to a profound and transformative change in the financial system or in economic practices at a global level. This phenomenon implies the appearance of new models, technologies, products, or ways of managing wealth that significantly alter the traditional functioning of financial markets, banking, investments, and the economy in general. The financial revolution is not limited to the emergence of new technologies, but also to a paradigm shift in how humans and institutions perceive and handle the money, creating new opportunities for investment, savings, and consumption. Examples of recent financial revolutions include the rise of cryptocurrencies, the use of blockchain, and the expansion of digital banking, which have challenged the traditional structure of the global financial system. Impact. Donald Trump's return has ignited a financial revolution. The dollar and small cap stocks are rising. Bitcoin is reaching new heights, and the financial sector is recovering. But as the first agenda takes hold, certain sectors are thriving, while others face significant challenges. Markets are changing, and the impact is just beginning. European stock markets, with the exception of Madrid, have responded positively to Trump's victory. The dollar has strengthened, especially benefiting small-cap stocks. This upward trend is attributed to expectations of business-friendly economic policies under the Trump administration. The cryptocurrency market has shown remarkable enthusiasm. Bitcoin reached a new all-time high of $75,389. This rally is partly due to expectations of a more lax regulatory framework from cryptocurrencies. Several sectors are emerging as the main winners: energy, finance, and small businesses. These market reactions are preliminary and could be adjusted as more details about the new administration's specific policy become known. In addition, uncertainty could persist for several days until all election results are confirmed, especially in Congress. Trump's economic policy, known as Trumpnomics 2.0, includes a reduction of corporate tax from 21% to 15%, individual tax cuts, the imposition of tariffs, including 60% on products imported from China, and the elimination of regulations. Higher economic growth and possibly higher inflation are expected. This could slow or stop the Fed's planned rate cuts and pushed the 10-year Treasury bond yield up to near 4.5%. Breaking news. A new era in Western civilization is dawning. The Simpsons got to the US election result wrong this time. Trump announces Susan Wiles as White House Chief of Staff. Pentagon chief says he's prepared to carry out Trump's orders. Putin congratulates Trump on victory, welcomes opportunity to resume talks. Moscow calls Trump's statements about ending Ukraine conflict exaggerated. Trump picked up a higher share of voters under 30 than any Republican presidential candidate since 2008, according to NBC News. The Democratic Party's vice presidential candidate wants to flee the US, as do hundreds of deep state leaders. Spain is one of the preferred countries for those fleeing the US after the elections. General Flynn explains what Trump is going to do on the first day of his mandate in 4 areas: deregulation, illegal immigration, human trafficking, health and energy. Reactions. Houthis urge Trump to end Gaza war. Iran-backed Houthis declare ceasefire after Trump victory. CBS host gets emotional talking about how he would explain Trump's win to his kids on Colbert's show. According to Brandon Smith, Democrats embraced globalist authoritarianism and have now paid the price. Trump's victory has the Biden administration bracing for a surge of migrants at the southern border. Trump has vowed to close the border when he takes office in January. The dam has burst and a flood of freedom is coming. According to the quote of the Raven, this marks the beginning of a golden age for freedom, smaller government and alternative media. According to Alfredo Jalife Rame, Trump supporters turned out for him, and the Republican Party now represents the working class, while the Democratic Party became so bourgeois that it is now the party of Wall Street. According to Cash Rush, Donald Trump didn't win the election to prevent the collapse of the system. He won the election to lead humankind into a peaceful new world. Humanity is in the final preparations for the transition to the next life and to a new realm of existence, without going through the process of death. This is ascension. Economy. The Federal Reserve lowers interest rates by 1/4 point. Jerome Powell avoids a train crash with Trump. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell will not resign if Trump asks him to. Powell says Donald Trump couldn't fire him if he tried. The US economy added 12,000 jobs in October, well below expectations. The stock market yields and the dollar rose with Trump's victory. Trump's impact on the world economy: strong tariffs, tax cuts, deregulation, and withdrawal from global agreements. Jeffrey Tucker thinks a recession will become obvious by next summer. Then it will declare itself at the end of the year. The velocity of money and the banks will start to fail, but this is just a personal opinion. The new US government is already impacting crude oil. It will flood the world with oil and sink the price of a barrel by half. Brent and West Texas futures fall more than 1.5% on the markets. Trump has promised to deregulate and give free rein to exploration and drilling. In the US, we have more oil and gas than in Saudi Arabia and Russia, he said. China. China to unveil long-awaited economic stimulus package. China's fiscal noose is tightening. As the rush to try to save its economy through stimulus continues, China is seeking to penalize its citizens for unpaid taxes. Xi Jinping warns Trump that US would lose in a confrontation with China as a new trade war looms. Trump has proposed tariffs of up to 60% on products made in China. Europe. European markets fall after Trump's victory and focus their attention on the Fed. Scare or die on the European stock market in the face of the new Trump era. China and the rest of emerging markets stand out among those who are threatened by the shockwave of the Trump trade. But Europe will hardly emerge unscathed, according to UBS analysts. Germany loses its American friend at the worst time. If the US becomes protectionist, it is finished. The German government collapses as mass strikes paralyze the economy. After the collapse, Germany approves a draft law on military service. Italy to reveal evidence of election theft in 55 countries via its Leonardo satellites. Spain. 3 dams in the flooded area of Valencia remain unbuilt after 24 years. Spain breaks a population record due to immigration. It reaches almost 49 million inhabitants. Madrid is an opportunity with housing prices 40% lower than in 2008. Trump's return urges Spain to spend $10.5 billion more on defense. 10 Spanish banks are giving away money in exchange for a long stay. The offers range from 250 to 720 euros and the stays from 12 to 36 months. The SEC is investigating Santander for using unauthorized messaging systems in commercial communications. Algerian banks lift all restrictions on trade with Spain. The Supreme Court will investigate former Minister Ábalos for influence peddling, embezzlement and bribery. A solidarity army takes care of the animals affected by the flood. They rescue more than 400 in 1 week. Ana María La Justicia Marcasa, founder of the brand of dietary supplements that bears her name and pioneer in the use of magnesium, dies at the age of 100 in Barcelona. Spain will offer nationality to the 135 Nicaraguans exiled to Guatemala. Americas. Trump surpassed Bush's record in the Latino vote in the elections. A wildfire in Southern California burns more than 20,000 acres, driven by strong winds in Santana. The passage of Hurricane Rafael leaves landslides, flooded basements, and another total blackout in Havana. The western region of Cuba enters a recovery phase after the passage of Hurricane Rafael. Hurricane Rafael strengthens in the Gulf of Mexico after leaving millions without electricity in Cuba. Hurricane Rafael advances in the Caribbean with heavy rains and winds for southeastern Mexico. Mexico is in Donald Trump's line of fire. The US will pressure Mexico to install a virtual wall. Mexico responds to Trump that immigration has dropped by 75% in the face of the threat of a 25% tariff. The Mexican economy has registered more growth than China, Spain, France, and Canada. Bogota represents itself to the world from New York as a welcoming city. Rains and floods leave dozens of people and vehicles trapped in the north of Bogota. The Bolivian government will meet with sectors to reactivate the economy after the blockades. The battle with the Argentine government continues over the fate of the state airline. Milei will travel to the US next week to meet with Trump. Milei celebrates Trump's victory as his own. The Argentine president was one of the first world leaders to congratulate the president with an eye on obtaining advantages in the negotiation with the IMF, according to Juan Lehmann. The American continent prepares for the impact of Trump. Leaders such as the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, and the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, as well as Jair Bolsonaro, former president of Brazil, were among the first to congratulate Trump. On the other hand, Gustavo Petro, president of Colombia, and Claudia Sheinbaum, president of Mexico, are preparing for a difficult relationship with the new White House. Mexico will face the greatest burden of the next 4 years because its exports could be affected by protectionist tariffs that Trump promised. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.